Can you hear me? Hopefully you can. No, maybe. I don't know yet. Let's see here. You can. Okay, good. Hey, November Rain. Haven't seen you forever. Boom, here I am. There's an echo? No. There's an echo? It didn't sound like an echo to me. Is there? It was you, Skilo. I'm like, wait, there's an echo. What the hell happened here? All right, I was hoping I got it set up right. You know, sometimes that doesn't happen. We all know that. So good to see everybody. So Crime Curious is a channel. She's in here. Her name is Jen. And there's a little one, November Rain. Stop it right now. Something's wrong with the darn. How about now? How about now? Yeah, if the mods can drop her channel, that would be great. Because what she did was spectacular. She went through and did the entire thing. The volume's low. Okay, hold on. Hold up. Wait. I don't like that. So I don't like it. I don't like it. No, it's saying that it's fine, but it sounds different than yesterday. Okay. Oh, you know what? How about now? Because I think it's trying to get it from my webcam, and it's not trying to get it from my thing here. But I don't know. Lot of bass. Okay. Well, I don't like that. Put it in front of me. It's weird. It always acts fine. Now you want to act weird? It's better now? All good now. Sounds great. Good. Okay, so I changed a few things. So there we go. And, you know, he's just going to act up. My dog here, but whatever. Maybe dial it down now. Tin can gone. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to listen to Crime Curious. She did such a great job on this. We were at part 2 yesterday, so we'll be stopping and doing commentary and all of that stuff. So this is the document, and we were here on part 2 yesterday. And that's exactly where we're going to be starting here today. Boop. She even, I mean, she's got snow. We're in a cabin. We have a fire. The whole thing, man. All of the things. So I put her on 1.25 because this does say listen to it while you go to sleep. But we don't want to go to sleep, right? I listened to her while I was going to sleep. Oh, my God. I have a weird effect on my voice. Stop. Oh my God. Oh my God. What is it? I don't I don't know what it is. Hold on. How about now? Is it any better? Oh, it could be my. Hold on. It could be these. Might have been my Wi Fi, my headphones, earbuds. But I moved them far away now. Let's see if that made it any better. It's kind of robotic. I am a robot. Not better, but not bad. Ah, whatever. Okay. We're gonna listen to somebody else. I did. I turned off my earbuds. They're completely off now. So I'll play with it while we listen. Oh, and it's good now. Oh, so silly. It wasn't the earbuds, huh? Let's just listen to somebody else instead of me. How about that? That'll work.
Part 2. The evidence that connects the Odinites to the murders. What is Odinism? For Rick's defense team, it has been hard to gain a grasp on exactly how to define Odinism. A March 15, 1998 article found in the winter issue of the Southern Poverty Law Center's Intelligence Report said this about Odinism in 1998. A neo-pagan religion drawing on images of fiercely proud, boar-hunting Norsemen and their white-skinned Aryan womenfolk is increasingly taking root among skinheads, neo-Nazis, and other white supremacist groups. Across the nation. Al-Satru leaders have opened prison ministries in at least 5 states recently, and that many jailed followers are heavily white supremacist. A leading proselytizer, imprisoned terrorist David Lane, has been writing prolifically and influencing many to adopt his racist interpretations. Bob Matthews, the late founder of the Order, of which Lane was a member, adopted a series of related beliefs. A Denver skinhead who confessed to the November murder of a man because he was black bears an Al-Satru tattoo. Some key Al-Satru leaders have known neo-Nazi or anti-Semitic backgrounds. Phil Rodriguez, a gang investigator with the Arizona State Prison System, says suddenly Al-Satrus become the new big fad. Al-Satru, an Icelandic word meaning belief in the Aesir or gods, has been officially recognized as a religion in Iceland since 1972. Further down in the article, the SPLC states the following. Odinism, which is closely related to Al-Satru, was much favored in Nazi Germany. Its Nordic or Teutonic mythology was a bedrock belief for the key Third Reich leaders, and it was an integral part of the initiation rites and cosmology of the elite Schutzstaffel, SS, which supervised Adolf Hitler's network of death camps. Decades later, Odinism also influenced George Lincoln Rockwell's American Nazi Party. In addition to the white supremacy component that exists within Odinism, there seems to be an additional dark, demonic component to Odinism, at least if articles concerning Odinist human sacrifice and imagery found on the internet, coupled with imagery and language found on Brad Holder's Facebook page, are to be considered. As an example, the defense has attached Exhibits 30 through 34. Exhibits 30 and 31 were found on the internet. Exhibits 32, 33, and 34 are different versions of the same image that Brad Holder posted on his Facebook page. As you can see, law enforcement wrote the words, quote, painting by Brad Holder, Odin hanging from world tree, unquote, on Exhibit 34. This appears to be something that law enforcement would have used in a PowerPoint presentation. Additionally, Kevin Murphy, who was a state trooper that investigated the Odinist angle, said this about Odinism, quote, it seemed to me to border on almost a satanic type of worshiping, sacrificing, but I couldn't really wrap my brain around it, unquote. Exhibit 30 is an image from a website on Odinism of a man hanging upside down from a tree who has been sliced in the neck with blood dripping to the ground. This man's arms are posed similarly to Abby's at the crime scene. This man's legs are also posed similarly to Abby's at the crime scene. His left leg is straight and his right leg is bent at the knee. The only difference is that this man's right leg is placed over the left leg, while Abby's right leg was posed under her left leg. Exhibit 31 is an image from a website on Odinism of a man wearing antlers similar to the crude way in which sticks were formed on Abby's head. Exhibit 31 also resembles the crime scene in that the man's left leg is straight while his right leg is bent at the knee and placed under his left leg, just like Abby was found. Both exhibits 30 and 31 were found on the internet by Ryan Boucher during his internet research. The defense includes exhibits 32 and 33 in the event that the court might think something like, quote, well, just because those images are available on the internet concerning Odinism has nothing to do with Brad Holder, unquote. Exhibits 32 and 33 are images that the defense located in the state's discovery. Both exhibits are the same image, with exhibit 33 being a close-up version. The image itself is a painting produced by the hands of Brad Holder. As the court can see, Brad Holder painted what the defense would call a very creepy, serial killer-looking image of a naked man hanging from a tree. Holder's painting is similar in appearance to exhibits 30 and 31. Also, in Holder's self-made painting, you can see that just like Abby, the hanging man's right leg is bent at the knee, angled toward the man's straight left leg. Again, an overly inquisitive man down in Georgia, Ryan Boucher, began piecing all this together without even having the benefit of the crime scene photographs. Yet,
How bad is it? I have two blue mics. My mics are fine, thank you. They're just in the other room. I'm thinking it's this. Let me know if it's any better at all. I think it's just my cord. Sounds. I know there's a delay, so I'm just gonna wait a second. Yeah, I think I do. But you guys are saying it's fine now, right? Good. Perfect. Okay. So this guy, Ryan, down in Georgia, started piecing all of this stuff together, all of these things that are found, or a lot of these things that are found in this document. And that's why you can go back on Reddit and Facebook and other places to find some of this information. You know, people say, oh, we already knew about the F. We already knew how they were posed. We knew all of these things. Well, they knew because of Ryan. That's the reason. And I think that's weird because he didn't have any crime scene photos. So how the hell did he know any of this? I don't know.
either incompetently or intentionally failed to piece together these images, which would have caused any curious investigator to continue pursuing Brad Holder as a suspect. Ryan Boucher's curiosity led him to continue his research into runes and Odinism. Boucher's research led to an article that is a primer for Odinist sacrifice. The defense has
because I unplugged things and I plugged them back in. Bastards. All right, hold on. Who is Ryan? Ryan is the guy who figured all this stuff out down in Georgia. Georgia. Are we all going to sing? We should. Georgia. Let me know if you can hear her now. Hold on. There's a delay, so just wait.
Attached to this article by Daniel Bray entitled Sacrifice and Sacrificial Ideology in Old Norse Religion. Within Bray's article, he discusses the history of human sacrifice to Odin that exists in the pagan Norse religion. Early in the investigation, one of the investigators viewing the crime scene thought that it might be the work of Odinists practicing Odinism. Unified Command's Jerry Holman has forgotten which investigator it was. Early in the investigation, based upon the thought that Odinism may explain how the bodies were found and how the sticks were arranged on top of the girls, Unified Command sought out an expert. The expert was being sought in order to consider whether the crime scene was indicative of Odinism or some other cult. According to Holman, Sergeant Steve Buckley of the Indiana State Police was in charge of locating the expert. Allegedly, the expert that Sergeant Buckley found was from Purdue. According to Holman, he doesn't know the Purdue professor's background, quote, but he studies that Norwegian Nordic culture that Odinism is, unquote. Holman admitted that he has never talked to this Purdue professor. Holman stated that Sergeant Buckley knew the Purdue professor's background, and furthermore that Sergeant Steve Buckley, quote, was in communication with them, unquote. According to Holman, the professor, quote, was out of the country at that time, and we did not release the photos, but we released a sketch of the sticks, how they were laid, and some other information, unquote. Having reviewed everything, the professor concluded that it was not Odinism or any type of cult worshipping or any type of a group that would have conducted the crime, unquote. However, Jerry Holman told a different story to Trooper Roland Purdy concerning the conclusions of the Purdue professor. Trooper Purdy began assisting with the investigation in March 2017. However, the first time that Purdy ever even heard the word Odin or Odinite was at least May or June of 2017. It's also important to note that the first time that Trooper Purdy heard the word Odin or Odinite wasn't even through Unified Command or any other law enforcement officer, but rather through Becky Patty, who is Libby German's grandmother. Becky Patty, while talking to Trooper Purdy, informed him that Abby Williams had dated Holder's son Logan, and that Logan's dad was an Odinist named Brad Holder. This information interested Purdy, who then talked to Holman, and Holman told Purdy that they had already run the stick formations and Odin angle through a Purdue professor. Holman told Purdy that the results from the professor were kind of inconclusive. Purdy also believes he was provided, quote, a copy of what Purdue University had provided them, unquote. Upon reviewing that Purdue report, according to Purdy, the Odinite angle was not dead. In other words,
Does anybody else find that insane right there, what we just heard? It is. It's on 1.25, but yeah, Ryan isn't involved. No, but okay, wait. It is. It's on 1.25. And I know it's different having somebody else read it and I'm not reading it, but I'm listening closely. Okay, so let's just. This makes no sense, right? Because they were suspicious about this whole Odinite connection. So Holman tells Purdy about the professor. And Purdy begins assisting with the investigation in around March of 2017. But the first time he ever heard the word Odin or Odinite was at least May or June. And then it was from Becky Patty? Wow. And then the results were kind of inconclusive. According to Purdy, the Odinite angle was not dead. In other words, Holman did not tell Purdy, and the report did not claim that the Purdue conclusions That is very right, Burnt Art. It's strange, it's odd, it's crazy, it makes no sense. Right. Crime Curious. So he hears it from Becky instead of police who already at this early time had heard it from the young man who was dating one of the girls. Wow. That stopped me. Okay.
Holman did not tell Purdy, and the report did not claim that the Purdue conclusions were that, quote, it was not Odinism or any type of cult worshipping or any type of a group that would have conducted the crime, unquote. Holman has told one story to Purdy and yet another story under oath in a deposition as to what the Purdue professor's conclusions were concerning Odinism involvement in the murders. The difference between concluding that Odinists and cults did not commit the murders versus that the evidence is inconclusive as whether Odinists were involved in the murders is significant. In the first instance, such a conclusion could theoretically explain why law enforcement stopped pursuing the Odinite angle. In the second instance, law enforcement would presumably continue to pursue the Odinite or cult angle based on the stick formations, the girl's body positioning, and the F painted in Libby's blood on the tree, as well as other strong evidence supporting an orchestrated abduction and ritualistic murdering of the girls. As stated earlier, both Lesenby and Liggett privately believed more than one person were involved based upon how much work was needed to leave the crime scene the way that it was found. However, if the Purdue report concluded that a band of Odinites or cultists were not involved, then arguably it could be the work of one man. It is very telling that Trooper Purdy had been working as an investigator on the case for at least 2 months before ever hearing the word Odin or Odinite. This fact is evidence that the Odinite angle was abandoned before Purdy became involved in the investigation in March 2017. This point can't be emphasized enough. The Odinite angle was abandoned by March 2017, only a few weeks after the girls were murdered. The reason for this abandonment, a Purdue professor had reached a conclusion concerning Odinism and the crime scene. Of course, Holman tells one thing under oath about that conclusion, Odinism and cults were not involved in the murders, and another thing to Purdy, the results were inconclusive. A report may or may not exist that does not rule out Odinism. The best thing to do to figure out which version of Holman's story to believe, if either, is to go straight to the source, the Purdue professor, and or to read the report that the Purdue professor prepared. The problem is that as of the filing of this document, the defense has been told that Unified Command cannot identify the professor, and therefore can't locate the professor, and in the end, may not ever be able to identify this mystery professor. Additionally, the prosecution has not provided the defense with any Purdue report. Presumably, if the state of Indiana had such a report in its possession, then the identity of the mystery professor would be revealed. The only conclusion is the Purdue report is missing, just as the author of the report is also missing. It is unknown if Detective Holman is currently searching for the mystery professor. If so, he will probably never be found because of the incompetence surrounding this investigation and the complete inability to conduct a comprehensive review of all facts and circumstances pointing to the involvement of multiple actors in this crime. To summarize,
That is wild. Where's the report? Where's the professor? If it was only a few weeks. Okay. So the detectives go to look at the crime scene. Clearly, they're seeing the formation of these branches and that there's something very much not normal here. Something is very wrong with the scene if they're putting stick horns and all of these strange branches and an F painted in blood, if we're to believe what the defense is saying here. But keep in mind, the defense got all this information and discovery from the prosecution. And we also have to remember this part. The Odinite angle was looked at, according to the police, early, very early. And then it's ruled out. Why would that be? And where the hell's the report? This is baffling. Oh, it's very frustrating. That's what I'm thinking, QWERTY. Right. How could all of that be lost? This is definitely reasonable doubt for Richard Allen, right? Yeah, how do you lose a whole professor? Where's the professor? We don't know. The professor's not here. So much is mysteriously missing or tainted. I didn't like the snark, but they aren't necessarily wrong. Yeah, I completely agree. Hey, Jessica, it depends on the interpretation of the investigators at the crime scene. I agree. So they had to have been, at least one of them had to have thought something is very wrong. Why are there these wooden, why do they have sticks laying on these girls? Why is one girl dressed in the other girl's clothing? One girl's nude, the other girl has no blood on them, whatever. None of that makes sense, right? Oh, sorry, your name's Purdy. Get it right. My apologies. Hey, finest, honey. Oh, it's so frustrating. And it's so unfair because this is two little girls you're talking about, right? You would think that you're going to be so tedious in your investigation. Every hair, every speck, everything is kept. It's safe. Every person you've talked to is recorded and written in reports, phone numbers, emails. This is beyond frustrating. It's beyond frustrating. Who is the professor? Where are they? We need to talk to them, okay? Damn it.
The crime scene is chock full of signs of cult involvement. At least one law enforcement officer believed that the cult involved may be Odinites. Therefore, very early on in the investigation, Unified Command claims to have found an expert from Purdue. This expert from Purdue, according to the sworn testimony of Jerry Holman, dismisses Odinism and cultism as being involved. The investigators move on from Odinism to the degree that when Trooper Purdy got involved in the investigation in March 2017, he never even hears the word Odinism or Odinite uttered by anyone in Unified Command. Rather, Purdy hears Odinism for the first time in May or June from a fact witness, Becky Patty. Now this mysterious professor can't be found. 2 young girls were brutally murdered, and an innocent man sits in Westville being mentally abused by Odinite guards, and Detective Holman can't identify the Purdue professor that caused the abandonment of the likely source of the murders. It's very difficult to put into words the level of incompetence, or worse, the level of intentionality on display. It would be utterly laughable if the consequences of this dereliction of duty didn't involve life and death. The life of Richard Allen and the deaths of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. These are the facts that greatly undermine the credibility of the entire investigation and are an embarrassment to the greater law enforcement community. As stated previously, when determining whether a Franks hearing should be granted, the court will be determining whether the actions of Tony Liggett, as alleged by the defense, were intentional or reckless. Surely a missing Purdue professor and missing report would qualify as either intentional or extremely reckless conduct. Luckily for Richard Allen, Detective Murphy was thorough and organized enough to document in great detail his findings on the Odin angle of the investigation. Enter the Odin report. It seems only prudent that the court would review this report in its entirety before reading the remainder of this memorandum. As part of discovery, the defense received a 12-page Word document that provided a summary of Trooper Kevin Murphy's investigation of the Odinite angle. Over time, for reference purposes, the defense has come to call this document the Odin Report. Therefore, to more clearly reference this document throughout the rest of the memo, the defense will use the moniker Odin Report when discussing this report. The Odin Report was created by Indiana State Trooper Kevin Murphy, who thankfully was independently curious. The Unified Command, through Liggett and Hammond, had concluded by March 2017 that Brad Holder should be cleared as a suspect, as will be detailed later. Further, Unified Command had claimed that it had concluded very early on, probably March 2017, that Odinites were not involved, as discussed earlier. Despite Liggett and Holman clearing Holder as a suspect in March of 2017, and despite a mystery Purdue professor dismissing all links between Odinism and the murders, Murphy pressed on. Murphy began investigating a man named Elvis Fields down in Rushville, Indiana, 126 miles away. The fruits from this investigation ultimately boomeranged Murphy, as well as law enforcement officers Greg Ferenczi and Todd Click, back to Brad Holder, and therefore back to Odinism. Murphy, Ferenczi, and Todd Click's dogged pursuit of the truth is what we citizens and those accused of crimes should expect out of law enforcement. These honorable law enforcement officers were knocking on doors and conducting interviews, going wherever the evidence led them. Immediately following an interview, Murphy would reduce key aspects of that interview into a Word document. Over time, the Odin report grew from a single page from his first interview with Mary Jacobs to 12 pages, with the last pages used for summing up his thoughts from all the interviews he had conducted. The defense has attached this document to this memorandum and marked it as Exhibit 36. Surprisingly to Murphy, even though he was handing over to Unified Command powerful evidence that really painted a clear picture of who was involved in the murders, Holman and Liggett did not seem interested. Eventually, Murphy said that Unified Command phased out the Odinite/Rush County angle. Murphy figured that this phasing out was due to Unified Command knowing things that he didn't know that eliminated the Odinism angle. Murphy further stated, quote, "I kind of took my marching orders and just did what I was told and went where I was needed," unquote. In other words, Murphy trusted that Unified Command was doing the right thing. Who is Brad Holder? Who is Patrick Westfall? Who is Johnny Messer? Who is Elvis Fields? Who is Rod Abrams? And why does the evidence strongly point toward these men as having been involved in the murder of Abby and Libby? The Odin report provides much of the information. However, the report is not the only source of evidence provided by the state of Indiana that links these men to the murders. The investigative fingerprints of Todd Click and the late Greg Ferenczi are prominently peppered throughout the Odin report as well. Click also prepared a roughly 85-page report and delivered it to Unified Command. However, the defense didn't receive this document until September 8, 2023, nearly 10 months after defense counsel entered their appearance. The defense will now show what Liggett and the rest of Unified Command knew but refused to act on. This information is what Liggett concealed from Judge Diener. The defense will include the evidence that links these men to the crime scene and to each other, including the intimate knowledge that these men had of the crime scene that only someone who had been at the crime scene would know. Brad Holder's son, Logan, was dating Abby Williams at the time of the murders. Nobody denies this fact. Amber Holder, for example, discusses this fact on page 9 of the Odin report. Exhibit 37 is a document memorializing the only known interview of Brad Holder concerning the Delphi murders, at least through August 30th, 2023. In that document, it is learned Brad Holder details that he was usually in Delphi every weekend visiting his friend Patrick Westfall and attending Ausatru religious ceremonies at Patrick Westfall's house, usually on Sundays. Ausatru is interchangeable with Odinism. Patrick Westfall and Brad Holder had been friends prior to the murders of Abby and Libby. In fact, Patrick Westfall and Brad Holder were found in a photograph together as late as January 21st, 2017. Find attached a copy of said photograph marked as Exhibit 38. Murphy noted on page 11 of the Odin report that, quote, Westfall appears 10 times in pictures that Holder posts on Facebook prior to February 13th, 2017. However, after February 13th, 2017, Westfall does not appear in any of Holder's post photos, unquote. What happened to the friendship of Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall? Amber Holder tells a very disturbing story. As can be viewed on page 9 of the Odin report, Amber told law enforcement the following. She said that Brad spoke of Patrick one time when he was intoxicated and said that he and Patrick got into a fight and they no longer speak to each other. He told her that he and Westfall were in the woods near a river conducting a ritual. One of them said or did something that the other did not agree with, and they no longer talked to each other. She said the river was near Patrick's house. Note, Brad has a Facebook post with him and Patrick together on January 21st, 2017. Patrick Westfall was living in Delphi at the time. Find attached DIN 0002561, marked as Exhibit 39 and filed as confidential. This document is the narrative report of what is believed to be the only interview police conducted of Patrick Westfall. The address where Westfall was living at the time was 3.1 miles, or roughly a 7-minute drive, to the cemetery, which is the closest entry point to where the girls were murdered. As we know from Exhibit 37, Brad Holder admitted that he spent every weekend hanging out with his friend, Patrick Westfall, in Delphi and participated in Ausatru religious ceremonies on Sunday with Patrick Westfall. The girls were abducted on Monday, February 13, 2017. Patrick Westfall appeared to no longer be friends after February 13, 2017. Defense is unaware as to whether law enforcement were even mildly curious enough to seek Brad Holder or Patrick Westfall out to ask them about the explosive information Amber told police about an argument over a ritual gone bad in the woods sometime in February 2017. Additionally, Richard Allen's defense team is unaware whether law enforcement sought a search warrant for Brad Holder or Patrick's homes. Amber Holder tells a second and equally disturbing story. When interviewed a second time, Amber discussed another conversation she had with Brad Holder. She had gone to Brad Holder's house to visit him. While the children were upstairs, she inquired about Patrick Westfall under the ruse that Amber's girlfriend had a date with Patrick. This is what is contained on page 10 of the Odin report. Brad became very nervous and told her that she needed to stay away from Westfall or she would end up dead. She said that Brad told her Westfall and his crew was responsible for the murders of the girls in Delphi and a fire that killed 2 girls. I asked her if she knew of the fires in Flora that killed 4 girls, and she said she was not familiar with any fires that killed any children until Brad mentioned it today. She said Brad may have been talking about that fire, but had the number of killed wrong. She said Brad told her that Westfall and his crew had friends in several states and that they have no problem killing race traders. I asked her to clarify race trader, and she believed it meant white people who mix with other races. Amber said that Brad told her that Westfall belonged to a group called the Vinlanders and 22. Brad told her that Westfall had many people backing him up and powerful friends. She said that Brad was very nervous while telling her these things and was whispering like he was fearful someone else would hear him. She said that throughout the conversation, Brad was constantly telling her to stay away from Westfall. He also told her that Patrick had killed a lot of people and it didn't matter if they were innocent or not. Amber truly believes Brad is scared of Westfall. Prior to Amber leaving, she said that Brad told her to stay off Westfall's radar and, quote, "I can only protect you so much if you keep asking questions," unquote. He also told her that if Westfall found out she was married to him, that she would be in danger. Brad also questioned her on why Westfall would be going on a date, that he was under the impression that Westfall was married or engaged to someone. Imagine being an investigator trying to solve a horrible murder, having...
What? So they do this interview with these Ambers, and they're being told these things. Were there search warrants? Did they search everything in relation to these people? I'm guessing they had to have. Cordy says the fires in Flora were a black family. Miss Enigma, there are a lot of names. That's understandable. You have the 2 girls, Abby and Libby. Right now, you have Richard Allen in jail. You have Brad, who was married to Amber. Then you have Westfall, who used to be Brad's friend. Then you have Elvis, who's also a Vinlander, allegedly, I think. And Tanya's saying, yes, it's all been investigated. My only problem is, and hopefully the prosecution's going to come out and say, no, see, Birdie, we investigated all of this, and we are able to provide all of the information. Like, we sent off this cultist stuff to an Odinist expert at Purdue, and here's the report, right? I would think that that's important, because they can't, unless they've got an Odinist expert on their payroll, they can't just determine that. They can't just say, oh, yeah, no. No. This isn't Odinist at all. Unless they know the ins and outs of that specific sect of that religion, right? They can't. So, yeah, then you have law enforcement Jones and Robinson with the patches on, allegedly. I don't know. I know everything has been looked at, but I will say it again. When Keegan Kline was being looked at, Gray and I were like, there's no way this guy's not involved somehow. Him or his dad. There's just no way. Like, it was so clear that they were going down that social media route because one of his fake profile was talking to one of the girls and was supposed to meet them at the bridge or at the park area, the bench or whatever. Hello? And then a murderer comes out of nowhere? Just a random murderer. No. How does that happen? It doesn't. That you've got this catfish guy who is into CP, because now he's in prison for it, who is communicating with one of the girls about meeting. Then a murderer shows up. Come on. So then you go back to this, where why would Brad tell Amber about this stuff? Why would there be a ritual? Clearly they do rituals. There are pictures on their Facebook pages. I've seen them. Other people have seen them. We know that these rituals exist. Unless Richard Allen knows a lot about Odin and the runes, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. Yes, Flicking Bollocks. He, the guy that we thought it could be, Gray and I covered it on our other channel, Keegan Kline, went to prison for child pornography. And he was under a fake account trying to meet up with one of the girls. So we were just insistent that it had to be this guy. It just had to be him. And then it isn't him. What? So if that information comes out, people are thinking that for a little while. They still hadn't arrested anybody at the point that we were reading about Keegan. What? How long ago? Not that long. We never got to read any of this. And of course, our imaginations are going to run away with us. And the defense, it's their job to try and make the prosecution look like they've screwed up or have no case. But to go this far? I don't know. To me, it just doesn't. None of it sounds kosher. Not to me so far. I don't know. No, Aussie, not that's leaving a string of bodies. No. Especially a string of child bodies. No, it isn't. But maybe, like, he's saying, the reason that these two stopped being friends is because they were performing a ritual and something went wrong. Could that something have happened then? No, Alana, they can't make it up. They have to use what was given to them. They can stretch it and exaggerate and, but they have to cite what they were given from the prosecution as well. They can't just completely make stuff up. No. I mean, they could, but they shouldn't. Especially they are very clearly saying the prosecution got a search warrant under false pretense by leaving out a lot of information, and they got a search warrant for Richard Allen. The only thing that we know of connecting Richard Allen to this crime whatsoever is that he had a .40 caliber gun, and there was a intact bullet found there between the girls' bodies, underneath one of them, I think, under a phone, in the dirt. unspent, not maybe Gavel Geeks, yeah. When we hear the other side of all of this, which, why haven't they done that yet? Like, I want to know the other side of this right now. But regardless, to me, it's sloppy. Where are the photographs of the crime, the crime scene of the bullet, any of that stuff? Where is that information? And he was on the bridge. He was on the bridge. So he was interviewed in the beginning, right? And they cleared him. So people are like, yeah, this guy was cleared and that guy was cleared and people are cleared and there's no Odinist involved. Well, Richard Allen was one of the first people that they talked to, correct? He was one of the first people. And, well, we don't know if that was him, Cordy. Was it him? Because if you look at Brad with his scally cap on, he looks a hell of a lot like that too. So I don't know.
Learned all this information. What would a good investigator do? What would good leadership in the form of unified command do with this information? We would ask the court to think about all the tools that law enforcement had in its arsenal to pursue an investigation once these explosive stories were told. It doesn't appear that unified command did anything. The question then may be, did they, including Liggett, want to do anything to investigate the Odinites? Was unified command, and Tony Liggett, a member of unified command, acting intentionally or recklessly in the way it conducted the investigation? And by extension, was Liggett acting intentionally or recklessly in concealing this information from Diener in his affidavit for search warrant? What else linked Holder to the crime? On April 7, 2017, Holder posted a photo of a hand marked with the exact rune found on Abby's body. Attached and marked as Exhibit 41 is a Facebook post that displays Brad Holder's hand. The photo displays Brad Holder showing off a rune that was inked onto his hand, not a tattoo but likely from an ink pen. This rune that Brad Holder is proudly showing off is the same rune that the killers laid on Abby's body using sticks. This image was posted by Brad Holder approximately 52 days after the murders. The public had no idea what the crime scene looked like, and that Abby had sticks placed on her body like a Huggle rune. Yet Brad Holder coincidentally was showing off the same rune that was found on Abby. That should be important information for curious, honest, and well-intentioned law enforcement officers. Honest Trooper Murphy admitted that the image of the rune drawn on Holder's hand was similar in appearance to the rune found on Abby's body. Find attached a side-by-side image.
Sorry, and one more damn thing that I just remembered. Fancy, Forensi, whatever, the 82 pages that they wrote up, there were 3 officers on this that still were on it. They believed that this could be something, even after the Purdue professor and all of that. And the former chief contacted the defense attorneys. So let's not just think here for a second, oh, you're all just conspiracy theorists and you want to believe the most outlandish thing because it's a cult, blah, blah, blah. Come on. That argument sucks. It's not a good argument because you've got officers here who continued up until 2022 to continue to look into this because they believed something. If you go back to part 1 of this, you'll see that the former chief even reached out to give his statement. So it isn't just, oh, this was released and now all the internet sleuths have it, so it's going to be some sensational thing here. How in the hell would Brad Holder be posting stuff on his Facebook that are like side-by-side comparisons? Sometimes conspiracy theories are true, yeah. Well, the BAU thought it was Odinist, though. They thought it was cult-related. That's the FBI. They thought that it was cult-related. Right? Ooh, they just spoke with the murder sheet. One of these three officers? Oh, honey. See? That would be very interesting to know. Let me write that down. I would like to know that. I haven't listened to what the murder sheet had to say yet, but I'm going to. Okay, so I wrote that down, and I'm definitely going to look at that. Anything about animal hair? No? I don't know. He didn't confess to law enforcement, Alana. That's the big difference, right? Like, I could tell QWERTY that I, stabbed Melissa Bell. I didn't tell the police that. You can't prove it. I believe life sentences become death sentences when aggravating circumstances are involved. Yeah, the odds have to be astronomical. Come on. He didn't say much? Okay.
Of the rune that Brad Holder drew on his hand next to Abby's crime scene photograph, marked as Exhibit 42 and filed as confidential. Trooper Holman, on the other hand, refused to admit that the two images on Exhibit 42 looked similar. Quote, "I mean, it's a stretch that you could say that's the exact same formation," unquote, is what Holman said when comparing the two. By admitting that these images match or look like each other, Holman would then have to be admitting that Holder should have been a suspect, because the rune on his hand matched the rune found on Abby's body when the details of the crime scene were not known to the public. That is why honest cop Murphy admitted the obvious, that the two images look alike, but Holman refuses to admit the obvious. Holman has hitched his wagon to Richard Allen's guilt and can't consider any other candidate, and certainly cannot concede that Unified Command's investigation has been a shameful embarrassment. Therefore, Holman has to continue the charade of proclaiming that the two images contained in Exhibit 42 don't look similar, whether he actually believes it or not. However, while Holman cannot admit that the two images on Exhibit 42 look like one another, he is the same person that claimed that only minor differences exist between Sketch 1 and Sketch 2. As you will learn later in the memorandum, Sarah Carball claims to have observed a man walking down the road with mud on his clothing around 3:57 p.m. on the day of the murders. The man she observed turned into Sketch 1. According to Holman, Sketch 1 is the killer, Richard Allen. You will also learn later in the memorandum that Betsy Blair observed a man on the High Bridge around 2 p.m. The man she observed turned into Sketch 2. According to Holman, this man is also the killer, Richard Allen. Later, you will learn that for Liggett's and Holman's timeline to work, Sketch number 1 and Sketch number 2 need to represent the same exact person, Richard Allen.
We're all familiar with Sketch 1 and Sketch 2, right? 'Cause, stop. Ridiculous. There's not a chance in hell. There just isn't. Come on, bro. Save image as. Oh, you're not gonna let me, are you? 'Cause you're rude. There's no way. There's just no way. Dude, what? Thank you, Burnt Dirt. Melissa survived, yes. She definitely survived. But what is this? No. No. See the hat, though? You see the hat? Okay. see that? This dude here. That's Brad. Oh, that's a sucky ass picture. Hold on 1 second here. I'm gonna show you guys something. Hold on. Why is it not shaped properly here? Hold on. Hold
What
up.
kind of haircut do you have, Karen?
He's a jerk. I will say that much. Hold on.
Okay, fact one. What kind of haircut do you have, Karen? Okay, fact one.
I'm trying, Aussie. I'm trying. You know, it's not easy for us old folk here. But I am trying. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know. It's a no for you. Alana's like, no, damn it. It's like the flag rain dress. Yeah. It is. It is. And it's annoying. But what the hell is this, bro? What is that? Who are these people? It's not. What is that? Huh? I don't know. Didn't they chase pings from Libby's phone all over Delphi? I don't know. I don't have one for Richard Allen. I think we need them, right? We can look at the... Wah! Let me see. Wah! Let me close this one and then look at Mr. Allen here. Now, we need Allen in one of those caps, right? Let's look at that. Can we just see him in the cap? Maybe. No, because he doesn't wear those caps. And isn't he only 5'4"? He's very little. No offense to anybody. Well, he looks horrible now, my God. Ugh. I mean, I'm sure, like, Gray did some stuff on this, though. Let me see here.
This video contains subject matter that...
Mr. Gray Hughes. Okay. Let me look. Because he knows.
that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Oh, Gray. Oh, Gray. Onyx it has. Hey, Burden. Oh, it has. Yeah, I saw some of those pictures, Aussie. It went back and forth, but I don't know.
Hello, this is Gray Hughes.
Let's see.
The other day I put out a video comparing Richard Allen to the person people refer to as the bridge guy.
Guys. Downhill. Guys.
Cable snaps.
Downhill. Guys.
Cable snaps.
Downhill.
Where's the wheelchair coming up?
I think they're one and the same person, and I also believe law enforcement knows that as well, and I think Doug Carter actually confirmed that today. So let's listen to Doug Carter's comment on Wish TV.
A much younger man.
That guy and that guy, there's a lot of similarities. How did we get from here to here?
Well, I think that, remember, I've said from the very beginning, since 2017, a sketch is a sketch, it's not a photograph. That's the first time I've seen that.
Just realize that when Doug Carter said he's never seen that, it wasn't because he hadn't seen the sketch before. He just hasn't seen the comparison, having Richard Allen in the middle and both sketches on the side, okay? The reporter didn't seem to realize that's what he meant as well. Okay, obviously Carter has seen both sketches. He was actually the one in the 2019 press conference. That's when it was presented, the newer, younger looking sketch. That was actually the first one created. But the first one released was the older individual with the...
I think once we get to where we are today, we'll be able to look at the similarities of the two sketches and make a photograph, which will be Richard Allen.
A much younger man.
That guy and that guy, there's a lot of similarities. How did we get from here to here?
Well, I think that, remember...
Combination of the two sketches. They've said before that the sketch is who they believe is the person on the bridge. And when you look at the comparison video that I made, he looks exactly similar in structure and height, and even his voice has a similar cadence. It's hard to tell because the recording on the gondola of Richard Allen is a lot better quality than the enhanced audio file in the Delphi case. And there's a lot more sounds going on in the background, the crunching of the gravel and leaves at the end of the bridge. Okay, so that's all I had for you guys. Listen to Doug Carter's comment on Wish.
All right. Here's my question then. Okay. He leaves out of there. And we've all seen the walk, right? The Aussie sent us the videos of the guys who walk the bridge and then they walk down the path. It is not easy. It is steep. And he's got to take them down, both of them, down a steep hill, down onto the road, across the creek, into the woods. I watched that and I'm like, no, this is too much for me. This is too much. How did he get back in his car? How did he get no blood on him, allegedly? Or maybe he did. Maybe he brought a change of clothing and he burned all these clothes somewhere. But there was nothing in his car. I mean, he was one of the first people they interviewed, right? I don't know. All right, let's go back.
Sketch number 1 is attached as Exhibit 105, and sketch number 2 is attached as Exhibit 103. We would ask you, Judge, to take those exhibits out and please look at them. Those two exhibits, according to Holman, are the same person, Richard Allen. And they need to be the same person in order to support Holman's timeline. Yet Holman will not admit the obvious, that the men represented in these sketches look nothing like each other, nor like Richard Allen. Needing them to be the same man, Holman testified under oath that only minor differences exist between sketch number 1 and sketch number 2. This is how entrenched Holman is in his position that Richard Allen is guilty. He can't even admit the obvious. To further demonstrate the ridiculousness of Holman's alleged belief that except for minor differences, sketch number 1 and sketch number 2 look alike, let's look at what Lesenby said about sketch number 1 and sketch number 2 in his sworn statement. In his sworn statement, Lesenby stated that sketch number 1 and sketch number 2 are in fact two different men. While Richard Allen sits in a prison waiting for full disclosure of all evidence in the state's possession, the current sheriff and former sheriff can't even keep their stories straight as to how many men were involved and whether sketch 1 and sketch 2 represent the same man, Richard Allen, as Holman claims, or two different men, Richard Allen and someone else, as Lesenby claims. While Holman will not agree that Brad Holder's Facebook hand rune resembles the stick formation found on Abby's body, because that promotes Brad Holder as a suspect, at the same time, Holman will tell you that sketch 1 and sketch 2 look alike with only minor differences, because that promotes Richard Allen as the suspect. How far was Holman willing to stretch this incredible claim? When Holman was asked which resembles each other more, sketch number 1 and sketch number 2, or the two images found side by side in Exhibit 42, Holman claimed that sketch number 1 and number 2 looked more alike to each other than the two images found in Exhibit 42 look alike to each other. We ask the court the same question and see if you have the same answer as Holman. Please look at sketch number 1 and sketch number 2, then look at the side-by-side images on Exhibit 42. Would you claim under oath that sketch 1 and 2 look more alike to each other than the two images found on Exhibit 42 look alike to each other? The fact that Holman refuses under oath to admit the obvious truth should provide insight into whether Holman and his fellow Unified Command member, Tony Liggett, acted intentionally in concealing information from Judge Diener. When Trooper Purdy learned from Becky Patty that Brad Holder was an Odinist, at least for a short period of time, he was curious about Brad Holder. This short-term curiosity led to Purdy looking into Brad's Facebook page, where he found a very eerie photograph. This photograph is marked as Exhibit 43. It shows two girls lying on what appears to be the ground of a forest. The girls either are dead or posed as if they were dead. The girls have tree limbs arranged over their bodies. The girl in the forefront of the photograph has her arm and hand positioned very similarly to that of Libby's left arm and hand outstretched above her head. The defense has prepared a side-by-side photograph of the mimic photograph compared with the crime scene photograph of Libby, which is marked as Exhibit 44 and filed as confidential. Although both girls are dressed and the limbs on the girls are not arranged exactly like the limbs and sticks on Abby and Libby, the similarity of that photo found on Brad Holder's Facebook page is pronounced. Purdy did not think much of this photograph in terms of it implicating Brad Holder, at least that is what he is now claiming in 2023. However, even before Purdy had found that disturbing image on Holder's Facebook page, a tipster had beat him to the punch by finding it much, much earlier. The contents of a February 16, 2017 tip was written up in a report designated as DIN-C000048. This tip came in just 2 days after the girls were found. This tip said the following, quote, "Father of Logan Holder, ex-boyfriend of Libby social media, shows him a member of Vinlanders. Posts of half-dead women and fascination with Gothic figures and symbols out of tree branches," unquote. This report shows that Liggett actually approved further investigation of Brad Holder based upon that tip. This very same disturbing image came to the attention of law enforcement a third time by way of a gentleman named Ryan Boucher from Georgia. This tip was received by Trooper Joseph Winters on April 12, 2017, and converted into a report. An unredacted copy of this report is attached and marked as Exhibit 46 and marked as confidential. The defense will hereinafter refer to this report as the Winters Report. Ryan Boucher has also signed an affidavit detailing his failed attempts to gain the interest of Carroll County law enforcement concerning the information that Boucher discovered on Holder's social media accounts. That affidavit is attached and marked as Exhibit 47. Boucher's affidavit also details other aspects of the case discussed in this memorandum. As the affidavit details, Boucher talked directly to then-Sheriff Lesenby about his findings. This conversation would have occurred sometime before Boucher's April 12, 2017 conversation with Trooper Winters. Lesenby told Boucher that Holder was not a suspect and quickly dispensed of the phone call, as detailed in Boucher's affidavit. Despite Lesenby's comments, essentially telling Boucher that Holder had been eliminated as a suspect, Boucher was undeterred. Boucher felt something was off and called the state police post. As detailed in the Winters report, once Boucher provided his ID, Boucher then provided Winters, quote, pictures from Holder's media account depicting tree limbs on the ground displaying runes consistent with the Odin belief system, unquote. Then Winters wrote in the report that, quote, the provided media pictures show unknown young girls believed to be deceased with sticks placed over their bodies. The sticks across the females on Holder's media were believed to be symbols or runes, unquote. It should be noted that law enforcement has, to this day, still failed to turn over this mimicked murder photograph found on Holder's Facebook page. Fortunately, defense counsel was able to find Winters' report in the sea of evidence and, upon reading it, understood the potential importance that this photograph may have in terms of Holder's culpability in the murders. The only problem is that law enforcement had failed to produce it for the defense. Fortunately, through due diligence, the defense team located Boucher, drove to Georgia, and met with Boucher, who then was willing to provide the images to Richard's defense team, and did in fact turn those images over to Richard Allen's defense team. Even as recently as at his August 23, 2023 deposition, Winters stated that he was still unable to locate the images referenced in the Winters report that Boucher had provided Winters back on April 12, 2017. This means that if the defense team had not traveled to Georgia, it would still not be in possession of this exculpatory piece of evidence, and also would not have been able to ask questions at depositions to law enforcement concerning those images. To this very day, the state of Indiana has yet to turn over the images that Boucher provided Winters back in 2017. Following his interaction with Boucher, as can be read in Winters' report, it was apparent that Trooper Winters' interest was piqued. The details surrounding the February 14, 2017 crime scene was a well-guarded secret hidden from the public. Yet somehow Brad Holder, an Odinite whose son dated Abby Williams, had 1. An image on his Facebook page that closely resembled the crime scene, and 2. Appeared to have used an ink pen to draw a rune on his hand that mimicked the very rune that was found on Abby. Both images are described in Winters' report. So what did Winters do once he realized that it appeared that Abby's boyfriend's dad, Brad Holder, appeared to know intimate details about a crime scene kept confidential from the public? He spoke with Jerry Holman. The information that Winters unearthed via Ryan Boucher was so impactful on Winters that he remembers talking with Jerry Holman of Unified Command. Winters even recorded the following in his report. Quote, I spoke with Sergeant Holman on April 12, 2017. Holman advised that FBI had interviewed Holder shortly at the beginning of the investigation, unquote. In his deposition, Winters provided his reasoning. Quote, yeah, I think there's some substantial things that need to follow up on, unquote. In the same deposition, Winters also said that he, quote, wanted to make sure that all the information I had captured in my time from that was passed on. And because I had just taken that information, I just wanted to make sure, if I had no contact with anybody involved in this case again, that they were aware that I generated this supplement, unquote. Winters felt that the Boucher tip was important. He felt it so important that he wanted to make sure someone followed up on the lead by, at a minimum, re-interviewing Brad Holder. Again, it should be noted that as of September 11, 2023, the defense has still not received the February 17, 2017 interview of Brad Holder. Even the state of Indiana's most recent discovery dump, which occurred on September 8, 2023, still did not contain Holder's February 17, 2017 interview. However, on September 8, 2023, Rick's defense team learned something very interesting. On or about September 4, 2023, Trooper Holman finally followed up on Winters' request by finally re-interviewing Holder. It only took 5+ years. The defense still has not received Holder's first interview from February 17, 2017. We will see how long it takes for the state to turn over Holder's second interview from September 4, 2023. If Holman did in fact re-interview Holder on September 4th, 2023, it should be noted that the interview came on the heels of the defense team's contentious August 10th, 2023 deposition of Holman. The defense asked Holman, quote, "Are you going to fix these problems, or are you gonna actually look for the truth?" unquote. His response, quote, "I'm gonna look for the truth, but I think I've already found the truth. But I definitely will look into this, no doubt about it, and I will find out if we have done the follow-ups, and I don't know about it, and I will let Prosecutor McClellan know, and he can forward that information to you," unquote. The defense looks forward to watching the first Holder interview from February 2017, as well as the most recent Holder interview, to see if Holman treated Holder as an actual suspect, a label befitting the strong evidence that connects him to the murders, or if Holman's interview consists of softball questions lobbed at Holder with the purpose of fending off the defense rather than seeking the truth. Previously, the defense marked as Exhibits 32 and 33. These are the creepy images of the painting that Brad Holder created in February 2018. The image is of a man hanging by his feet. Brad Holder provided at least 2 Easter eggs in this painting for anyone following him on Facebook. The first Easter egg is another example showcasing Holder's knowledge of the hush-hush crime scene guarded from the general public. You will notice at the base of the tree is a rune painted blood red. The rune looks like the letter F, just like the letter F rune at the crime scene, painted onto the tree using Libby's blood. The other Easter egg is the date that Brad Holder placed on the painting in the lower right-hand corner of the painting. You will see that it looks like 217, and then some gibberish. It looks therefore like a month, February, and a year, 2017. Abby and Libby were slain in February of 2017. Upon closer inspection, it appears that the date in the corner may be 2/17/18. If so, this painting was drawn 1 year to the day that Brad Holder was interviewed by the police and then essentially dropped as a suspect. Is this just a fluke that Holder painted a red F at the base of this tree almost 1 year to the day that the girls were slain, when the crime scene was a guarded secret? Is it just a fluke that the date in the right-hand corner of this eerie painting shows 2/17? Unified Command would probably say yes, just a coincidence. Libby's blood was found on one of the trees at the crime scene in the form of an F that someone painted onto the tree using their fingers or some type of utensil. On December 12, 2018, Tony Liggett received an email from law enforcement officer Greg Ferenczi. It is a very informative email concerning Brad Holder's supposed alibi and the investigation into whether Holder dumped his old phone and received a new phone number, and also whether Holder sold his vehicle after February 13th of 2017. Find attached a copy of this email marked as Exhibit 48. The very last paragraph discusses a ceremony that Holder videotaped in Fort Wayne in 2016. Ferenczi left a Facebook link so that Liggett could watch the ceremony. This video was not turned over to the defense until the defense made the specific request for the video sometime in August 2023. This roughly 25-minute ceremony itself is odd. At the beginning of the video, Brad Holder is revealed as the person videotaping the ceremony. During the last few minutes of the video, when the presumed Odinites are dumping water at the base of the tree, you see a man that appears to be Patrick Westfall enter the scene. Once he is at the tree, you can see this person use his hand to what looks like mark the tree. Unfortunately, the viewer cannot see what word, letter, or symbol, if any, this person, presumably Westfall, is marking the tree. The marking appears to occur at a similar height from the base of the tree as the marking of Libby's blood was in the crime scene photos. Ferenczi sent a link of this video directly to Liggett. This video seems to show Westfall marking the tree in a similar manner in which the F tree was marked with Libby's blood at the crime scene. Even Ferenczi commented on Westfall marking the tree in the email, yet Liggett either intentionally or recklessly disregarded this evidence, potentially linking both Holder and Westfall to the crime scene. Attached to the memorandum is a photo provided to the defense in discovery from Brad Holder's Facebook page. The photo shows an F that Holder made from sticks from a tree. This image is marked as Exhibit 50. The defense took that image and placed it side by side with the F made from Libby's blood at the crime scene and marked that side-by-side photograph as Exhibit 51. Again, these exhibits display yet another example of Holder posting to Facebook images that mimic from the crime scene, unavailable to the public in 2 ways. 1, Sticks are used, like the runes on the girls, and 2, the F rune is used, as the F rune used and painted on the tree. Exhibit 52 is a meme that investigators found that had been erased from Brad Holder's Facebook page. This image was obtained through Discovery. The meme shows a still shot from a scene from the movie Goodfellas, in which the main characters are moving a dead body from one place to another. Billy Batts' dead body had been in one location, but later it was moved. The meme says, "Your real ones don't judge you or ask a bunch of questions. They help you move the body and never speak of it again." So 3 days earlier, Brad's son's girlfriend was found murdered. The girls' bodies were moved at the crime scene from one location where they were killed to a different location at the crime scene, where they were then found on February 14th, 2017. They, friends, help you move the body and never speak of it again. Toby Lesenby and Tony Liggett, in private, know that it took many men to accomplish all the tasks needed for that crime scene to exist the way it existed when the bodies were found. The timing is certainly curious. For a man who should have been mourning the brutal death of his son's girlfriend, a meme about moving dead bodies should create curiosity with law enforcement, especially when considering all the other evidence that links Holder to the crime scene. Why did Holder erase this meme? Was this meme a quick shout out to Brad Holder's Odinite buddies, thanking them for helping him with the bodies? Did this meme reveal the brazenness and overconfidence that Holder had concerning the belief that he would get away with the murders? These are questions that could have been posed to Holder in an aggressive interrogation. However, for Liggett and the rest of the Unified Command, the meme was just nothing to see here. Although Brad Holder told police that he went from work straight to the gym to work out in Logansport in the afternoon, here is Brad Holder at 2 a.m., purportedly at a fitness center, proclaiming that his, quote, energy and testosterone is through the roof right now, unquote. Find attached that Facebook post marked as Exhibit 53.
Have you guys all seen the Facebook posts and all of that stuff already? I don't know if you guys have, but if you have not. So he told them that he went straight from work at 2 or right after work to the gym, right? But I thought I grabbed it. Maybe I did not. Hold on. No, it's not this one. No. It was before that. It was before that. Where are you? This one? Swole. He's a colorful fella, this one. He is that. March, hold on. March. All right. 27th of February. 26th of February. 23rd. There we go. So there's this one. You'll see this one. No, I wasn't sharing it yet. I was looking for it. So this is February 15th. February 13th. Yeah, I don't know where that one is, so hold on. Yeah, there's some runes there. Hail Odin, it says. This is the 8th. Let me see something. 2 a.m. Facebook post 12 hours after the girls go missing. Says his testosterone is through the roof. This post was later deleted about the testosterone part of it. Right? So that was gone, but you still got this one. They're at the gym there. Tap out. Creeps you out. Yeah. He's something. All right.
Why was his testosterone so high? Why was his energy level so high? Why did he claim to go to the gym at 2 a.m. when he also claimed he had been to the gym just a few hours earlier? Why was he at the gym when he was supposed to be at work in a couple of hours? Did he go to work the next day? Why did he delete his Facebook post? Why would he be saying these things when his son is purportedly upset about his girlfriend being missing, as the girls had not yet been found when Holder posted this message to Facebook? Law enforcement officers, to our knowledge, never asked these questions in an aggressive interrogation of Holder. Perhaps they did at the recent September 4th, 2023 interview. We shall see. In Greg Ferenczi's December 12, 2018 email to Tony Liggett, Ferenczi had a few questions about Holder's deleted email. This includes questioning whether Holder's alibi about being at the gym should be further considered. Holder's purported alibi is discussed in a later section. It makes sense near the finish of this section, detailing some of the evidence that links Brad Holder to the murders by supplying the court with certain Facebook posts by Brad Holder that were mimicked and even recreated by a man named Elvis Fields. This will allow for a smooth transition to the next suspect on whom this memo will be focused, Elvis Fields. Who is Elvis Fields, this man that was mimicking Brad Holder's Facebook posts from 126 miles away? You will soon learn that he is a man that has admitted to both of his sisters that he was involved in the murders, a man that told his sister that because of his involvement, he was now part of a gang and had a brother, a man who, after providing his DNA, asked police that if he could explain why his spit might be on one of the girls, would he still be in trouble, and then admitted to a sister that he did, in fact, spit on one of the girls. And perhaps most incriminating, a man who
So this is Elvis Fields. Okay, hold on. Let me say something. I never had a vehicle at that time. For one, it's slandering. Two, how the blank can I be at that place piggyback on a turtle? How smart are some people? It's over 200 miles away. My turtle has a 4-barrel. It's illegal in Indiana to slander, by the way. Ain't it? I also heard someone say, I don't care who it is. It's someone. I'm just doing my job slandering by illegal rights in the state of Indiana. All right. Y'all go listen to the newest Murder Sheet episode. Todd Click himself says, no one in law enforcement believes Abby and Libby were killed in a ritual sacrifice. That is the defense twisting facts for sensationalism. Post it then. Look it up. Okay. Todd Click. So we're going to listen to that. Not right at this minute. Because first, we're on page 71 right here. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. On May 1st, 2023, the state of Indiana, by way of prosecutor Nick McClelland, received a letter from former Rushville Assistant Police Chief Todd Click, now retired. As stated in the previous paragraph, Click, Murphy, and Frenzy were three of the law enforcement officers who worked on the Delphi murder case, particularly focused on the Odinite angle as it intersected with suspects in Rushville, Indiana. After reading Richard Allen's probable cause affidavit, Click became concerned that the information contained in Richard Allen's affidavit pointing the finger at Richard Allen was far less compelling than the totality of the information that Detective Ferenczi, Detective Murphy, and Officer Click had accumulated during the Rushville portion of their investigation. The information that Murphy, Ferenczi, and Click had gathered during their investigation connected men who practiced Odinism or near Delphi with a group of men. Okay. Click was concerned that for some reason the leadership of the investigative team had failed to share with the prosecutor McClellan the evidence gathered by Click, Ferenczi, and Murphy. Click's concerns led him to seek out a lawyer to assist him in the drafting of the letter. This letter was then sent to McClellan. This letter was not provided to the defense until after it was obvious from the last round of depositions that the defense would certainly be talking with Todd Click. McClellan had this letter in its possession for over 4 months before turning it over to the defense. There can be no mistaking that this letter is exculpatory in nature and could have been used by the defense as it prepared for an upcoming deposition. However, it's apparent that McClellan only offered up the letter after it was obvious the defense team would soon be learning of the letter's existence. Okay. Click was so determined to ensure that his information was consumed by McClellan that he directed the information directly to McClellan via certified mail. The letter is stamped received May 1, 2023, Carroll County Prosecutor. Click's report landed at Ground Zero, a prosecutor's office with no more than blah, 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 blah. Okay. According to the summary of Click's investigation that he attached with this letter, quote, the Behavioral Analysis Unit, BAU, of the FBI determined that the individuals responsible for the homicides were involved in Nordic beliefs. Now you're saying Click was on the murder sheet and says, no, we don't believe that. No one in law enforcement believes that Abby and Libby were killed in a ritual sacrifice. Well, it can't be both things. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Who provided intimate details about the crime scene, the type of detail that only those that were at the crime scene could possess. Upon closer inspection, you will learn that Brad Holder and Elvis Fields did in fact have a common connection, Johnny Messer, but that Elvis lied to police claiming that he did not know Johnny Messer. Evidence provided by law enforcement shows that Elvis Fields lived in Rushville, 125 plus miles away from Delphi. Additionally, Elvis, at first glance, seemingly had no connection to Delphi or Logansport. However, once law enforcement officers Greg Ferenczi and Kevin Murphy learned that Elvis had confessed to his sisters, and especially after Elvis posed a bizarre question to Murphy, these curious law enforcement officers wanted to look at Elvis's Facebook page and ultimately compared it with Brad Holder's Facebook page. What they found was extremely telling. Elvis was obviously following Brad Holder on Facebook, as evidenced by the multiple posts that Elvis mimicked Holder. Elvis Fields was not only following Brad Holder's Facebook page, but Elvis was also emulating Brad Holder by recreating Brad Holder's Facebook posts in the year leading up to Abby and Libby's murders. The defense is attaching a series of 9 side-by-side photographs created by law enforcement. On the left side of each exhibit is a photo that Brad Holder posted on his Facebook page. On the right side of each exhibit is a photo that Elvis Fields posted on his Facebook page, in which Elvis took the time to actually recreate the photograph that Holder posted. They are marked as exhibits 55 through 63. highlighting just a few of those side-by-side photographs. A. Exhibit 5 shows that Brad Holder posted an image of brass knuckles surrounded by other weapons or guns next to Elvis Fields' mimicked post, recreating a photo featuring brass knuckles surrounded by weapons, which were knives. B. Exhibit 56 shows that Brad Holder posted an image of Holder placing a single arrowhead in his hand next to Elvis's mimicked post, recreating a photo of Elvis placing a single arrowhead in his hand. C. Exhibit 57 shows that Brad Holder posted an image of two arrowheads near each other next to Elvis's mimicked post, recreating a photo of two arrowheads near each other. D. Exhibit 58 shows that Brad Holder posted a photograph of a single clear mason jar next to Elvis's mimicked post, recreating a photo of a single clear mason jar. This mimicking is certainly curious, especially when Brad Holder's son dated Abby Williams, and when Elvis Fields, 125 plus miles away, confessed to both of his sisters on 2 different occasions that he was involved in the murders. This confession included telling one sister that Abby Williams was a troublemaker, and that is why he, Elvis, used sticks to form horns on Abby's head, and admitting to another sister that he was in big trouble and going away for a while because he was present when the girls were murdered, and that he spit on the girls. What are the odds that Brad Holder's son is dating Abby Williams, and 125 miles away, a fanboy of Brad Holder named Elvis Fields was mimicking Brad Holder's Facebook posts, and that a fanboy admitted to being involved in the murders of the girls? For Liggett and Holman, apparently, this coincidence was nothing important. Moreover, Trooper Roland Purdy refused to concede that Elvis's mimicked and recreated Facebook posts proved any connection between Holder and Fields. Trooper Purdy explained that the mimicked and recreated photos between Brad Holder and Elvis Fields might just be a coincidence. Liggett failed to inform Judge Diener of the evidence supporting Brad Holder's involvement in the murders. Before moving on to the evidence that supports Elvis Fields' involvement in the murders, the defense finishes the Brad Holder section by 1. Discussing Holder's purported alibi, 2. Showing the evidentiary linkage between Holder and Elvis Fields that supports Holder luring Elvis to get involvement in the murders in order to join him, Holder, and Holder's gang, 3. The circumstances surrounding Unified Command dropping the ball by intentionally or recklessly clearing Holder as a witness within weeks of the murders. Holder's alibi was not even close to fully vetted. When Holder's name was brought up as a suspect, one reason that kept popping up as to why Holder was cleared as a suspect was his purported alibi. An unclassified FBI report revealed the work, or lack of work, that law enforcement performed to check out Holder's alibi. That document is marked as Exhibit 65. This report was prepared on April 13, 2017. In this report, Pulaski Sheriff's Deputy Frederick Rogers, quote, followed up at Liberty Landfill in attempt to verify the employment and the work schedule of Bradley Holder, unquote. Susan Case from Human Resources stated that Holder's time card showed that he clocked in at 4:55 a.m. and clocked out at 2:45 p.m. Chase also said that she would be the only person that could change or manipulate the electronic time card. Chase further admitted that there was a security camera on site. Here is how Deputy Rogers memorialized that part of their conversation. Case advised Brad drives a junky red truck to work with a G on the front bumper. Case advised the security cameras at the scales may have picked up his vehicle coming and going on that date. Case advised that Holder stays on property for his lunch break. The short report concludes with this. Case provided this officer a copy of the timesheet for this week, showing Brad indeed had clocked in and out on February 13th, and he was still at work on today's date. Here's what we don't know about Holder's alibi at work. Number 1, did someone clock in for Holder? There is nothing that Chase said about the clocking in process that would prevent someone else from clocking in for Holder. Whether Holder was actually at work on February 13th, 2017, could have been better vetted by simply talking to Holder's workmates that would have been on the job site on February 13th, 2017, to determine if they remember Brad Holder being present at work on February 13th. Number 2, did someone clock out for Holder? The same logic applies to this question. Perhaps Holder clocked in, but then left early and asked one of his work buddies to clock out for him. It is unknown whether Odinites worked alongside Holder at the landfill, as it appears that Deputy Rogers did very little investigative work on this very important topic of Holder's alibi. Nor did anyone at Unified Command provide instructions for law enforcement to fully investigate every aspect of Holder's alibi. Number 3. Did Chase actually watch the video? The report is so poorly written that it can't be determined whether Holder's distinctive vehicle could be seen on the video or whether Chase was merely claiming that, hey, if you want to watch a video from the camera placed near the scales, it may show Holder's truck coming and going. Number 4. Did anyone in law enforcement watch the video alluded to by Chase, and if so, what did they see? It is quite maddening that the report refers to the possibility that a simple review of a video could determine whether Holder's junky red truck with a G on its front bumper was seen coming and going on February 13th. However, the fact is that this report does not inform anyone of what...
That's a great question, sweet and sour girl. Where's the video? If you have enough, I don't know how law enforcement works because I'm not a detective. However, if you have enough information that you're thinking this guy could be a suspect, maybe, who knows, that you're going to go to the job site and you're going to get his time card information. I would assume you have a photo of that showing that documentation, of course, right? Do you keep a copy of the video? Do you request the video? Did you get a warrant for the video? Did you watch the video? How do you know? Well, and the report was written poorly. So, I mean, is everything in this whole case written poorly? Because it says, even if his truck was viewed on the video, do we know that it was him driving the truck? Like, does anybody know anything? You're a doctor, a detective, a dentist. Oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous that if these were my children and I had to read this, I would be on the prosecutor's doorstep. Like, I want to see every fucking thing in your file right now. Right this instant. I want to see it all because this is insane. And I'm sure they're just saying to them, well, it's their job to try and get their client off, and you've got to understand that, you know, we've got this all tied up and don't worry about it. Because, of course, now there's got to be even a little bit of doubt in their minds, thinking, did we get the right person? Do we have the right person here? Ugh, it's so frustrating. Yeah, they would say no. I know, Gaffel. They'd be like, no, don't worry about it. We're fine. Well, I don't believe you because I read the Keegan Kline stuff and I thought, wow, this is something, right? And then it was nothing. Oh my God. It's awful. Well, do they? We don't know that if they have the right person. You've got a bullet. Not a bullet that was used on one of the victims. They claim that that's the only evidence that they have, right? Do you have blood from the car? You don't have any DNA. You don't have any hair. You don't have any of his clothing that had any of this stuff on it. And maybe they do. And everything's been so tight in this case that we don't know any of that. But this being released is major because we're hearing all of these things that we had no idea about. The fact that he was on the bridge, but also I have to keep going back. He was one of the first people interviewed, right? And he said that he was on the bridge that day, that he was there that day, right? Shut up, Gritty. So if this was one of the first people you interviewed and there was nothing like alarm bells, okay, because you didn't have that bullet, of course. Well, no, you did have the bullet because it was at the fucking crime scene, right? But you never asked him if he had a gun at that time. Like, what were they doing? What made them think this many years later, oh yeah, remember that bullet that we found? I wonder if that guy Richard Allen, like, how did it come to this? I mean, we do have the probable cause affidavit that we can go over. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I don't know. I'm making my own self frustrated. I'm like, listen, you bastards. Do you have anything? And they, I mean, of course, they've got more than my crazy self is saying. I'm sure they must, right? They must. They fucking must. I'm just frustrated for them. I don't know.
Whether law enforcement ever viewed this video, it would be presumed that if the deputy did watch the video, he would have memorialized it. Number 5.
Right.
Even if Holder's truck was viewed on the video, was Holder the person driving the truck as it arrived at the worksite? Perhaps the video would be able to show the image of the person driving the truck to see if it was Holder. Number 6. Even if Holder's truck was viewed on the video, was Holder the person?
Look at her. Look at Gavel. She's like, no, we need to look at him right now. All right. Probable cause. I used to have it saved, but I don't think I do now. Where's it at? Risha Allen, come on, baby. Okay. Ooh. Are we ready? It's only 7 pages. I can do that in my sleep. You ready? Ready? Let's go. Okay, we don't need to read all of this because of the... Okay. February 14th, 2017, victim 1 and 2 were found deceased in the woods approximately 0.2 miles northeast of the Monon High Bridge in Carroll County. Their bodies were located on the north side of Deer Creek. At the time, the Monon High Bridge was approximately 1 mile gravel trail terminating at the bridge. The bridge is an abandoned railroad trestle approximately a quarter mile long, spanning the Deer Creek and Deer Creek Valley on the southeast end of the trail. Approximately 0.7 miles northwest on the trail from the northwestern edge of the Monon High Bridge is the Freedom Bridge, which is a pedestrian bridge spanning State Road 25. Approximately 350 feet west of Freedom Bridge was a former railroad overpass over Old State Road 25, also known as County Road 300 North. The trail terminates just west of the former railroad overpass. The majority of the trail is in a wooded area with a steep embankment on the south side of the trail. The entirety of the trail and the location of the girls' bodies were and are located in Carroll County, Indiana. Through interviews, reviews of electronic records, and reviews of video at the Hoosier Harvest Store, investigators believe victim 1 and 2 were dropped off across from the Mears farm at 1:49 p.m. on February 13th by blank. The Mears farm is located on the north side of County Road 300 North, near an entrance to the trails. A video from victim 2's phone shows that at 2:13 p.m., victim 1 and victim 2 encountered a male subject on the southeast portion of the Monon High Bridge. The male ordered the girls, guys, down the hill. No witnesses saw them after this time. No outgoing communications were found on victim 2's phone after this time. Their bodies were discovered on February 14th, 2017. The video recovered from victim 2's phone shows victim 1 walking southeast on the bridge while a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. As the male subject approaches victim 1 and victim 2, one of the victims mentions gun. Near the end of the video, a male is seen and heard telling the girls, guys, down the hill. The girls then begin to proceed down the hill and the video ends. A still photograph taken from the video and the Guys Down the Hill audio was subsequently released to the public to assist investigators in identifying the male. Victim 1 and 2's deaths were ruled as homicides. Clothes were found in the Deer Creek belonging to victim 1 and victim 2, south of where their bodies were located. There was also a .40 caliber unspent round less than 2 feet away from victim two's body, between victim one and victim two's bodies. The round was unspent and had extraction marks on it. Interviews were conducted with 3 juveniles, blank and blank. They advised that they were on the Monon High Bridge Trail on February 13th. They advised they were walking the trail towards Freedom Bridge to go home when they encountered a male from Freedom Bridge towards the Monon High Bridge. Blank described the male as kind of creepy, advised he was wearing like blue jeans and like a really light blue jacket. And his hair was gray, maybe a little brown, and he didn't show his face. She advised that the jacket was a duck canvas type jacket. Blank advised that she said hi to the male, but he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black and had something covering his mouth. She described him as not very tall with a bigger build. She said he wasn't bigger than 5'10". Richard Allen's 5'4". Anyway, advised he was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots. She said he had his hands in his pockets. Blank showed investigators photographs she took on her phone while she was on the trail that day. The photographs include photos of the Monon High Bridge taken at 12:43 p.m. and another one taken at 1:26 of the bench east of the Freedom Bridge. Blank advised that after she took the photo of the bench, they started walking back towards the Freedom Bridge. She advised that was when they encountered the man who matched the description of the photograph taken from victim two's video. Blank described the man she encountered on the trail as wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. She advised that the jacket had a collar and he had his hood up from the clothing underneath his jacket. She advised he was wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. She advised her head came up to approximately his shoulder. She advised she said hi to the man and he said nothing back. She stated he was walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. She stated he had his hands in his pocket and kept his head down. She advised she did not get a good look at his face, but believed he was a white male. The girls advised after encountering the male, they continued their walk across the Freedom Bridge and the old railroad bridge over Old State Road 25. Investigators spoke with Blank, who advised she was on the trails on February 13th. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store captured Blank vehicle traveling eastbound at 1:46 p.m. towards the entrance across from the Mears farm. Blank advised she saw 4 juvenile females walking the bridge over Old State Road 25 as she was driving underneath on her way to park. Blank advised there were no other cars parked across from the Mears farm when she parked. She advised that she walked to the Monon High Bridge, observed a male matching the one from victim two's video. She described the male she saw as white, wearing blue jeans and a blue jean jacket. She advised he was standing on the first platform of the Monon High Bridge, approximately 50 feet from her. She advised she turned around on the bridge and continued her walk. She advised approximately halfway between the bridge and the parking area across from the Mears farm, she passed 2 girls walking towards the Monon High Bridge. She advised she believed the girls were victim 1 and victim 2. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store shows at 1:49 p.m. a white car matching Blank vehicle traveling away from the entrance, away from Mears farm. Blank advised she finished her walk and saw no other adults other than the male on the bridge. Her vehicle is seen on Hoosier Harvest Store's video at 2:14 p.m., leaving westbound from the trails. Blank advised when she was leaving, she noted a vehicle was parked in an odd manner at the old CPS building. She said it was not odd for vehicles to be parked there, but she noticed it was odd because the manner it was parked, backed in near the building. Investigators received a tip from Blank in which he stated he was on his way to Delphi on State Road 25 around 2:10 p.m. on February 13th. He observed a purple PT Cruiser or small SUV type vehicle parked on the south side of the old CPS building. He said it appeared though It appeared as though it was backed in to conceal the license plate of the vehicle. Blank drew diagrams of where they saw them parked, and their diagrams generally matched as to the area the vehicle was parked and the manner in which it was parked. Blank advised he remembered seeing a small, dark-colored car parked at the old CPS building. He described it as possibly being a smart car. Blank vehicle is seen leaving at 2:28 p.m. on the Hoosier Harvest Store video. Investigators spoke with Blank, who stated she was traveling east on 300 North on February 13th and observed a male subject walking west on the north side of 300 North, away from the Monon High Bridge. Blank advised that the male subject was wearing a blue-colored jacket, blue jeans, and was muddy and bloody. She further stated it appeared he had gotten into a fight. Investigators were able to determine from watching the video from the Hoosier Harvest Store that Blank was traveling on CR 300 North at approximately 3:57 p.m. Through interviews, electronic data, photographs, and videos from the Hoosier Harvest Store, investigators determined that there were other people on the trail that day after 2:13 p.m. Those people were interviewed, and none of those individuals encountered the male subject referenced above, witnessed by the juvenile girls blank and blank. Further, none of these individuals witnessed victim 1 and 2. Investigators reviewing prior tips encountered a tip narrative from an officer who interviewed Richard Allen in 2017. That narrative stated, Mr. Allen was on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building and walked to the new Freedom Bridge. While at the Freedom Bridge, he saw 3 females. He noted one was taller and one had brown or black hair. He did not remember the description, nor did he speak to them. He walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although he stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone as he walked. He stated there were vehicles parked at the High Bridge trail ahead. However, he didn't pay attention to them. He did not take any photos or video. His cell phone did not list an IMEI, but did have the following. Potential follow-up information. Who were the 3 girls walking in the area of the Freedom Bridge? Investigators believe Mr. Allen was referring to the former CPS building, as there was not a Farm Bureau building in the area, nor had there been. Investigators believe the females he saw included blank and blank, due to the time that they were leaving the trail, the time he reported getting to the trail, and the description of the 3 females he gave. Investigators discovered Richard Allen owned 2 vehicles in 2017, a 2016 black Ford Focus and a 2006 gray Ford 500. Investigators observed a vehicle that resembled Allen's 2016 Ford Focus on the Hoosier Harvest Store video at 1:27 p.m., traveling westbound on CR 300 North in front of the Hoosier Harvest Store, which coincided with his statement that he arrived around 1:30 at the trails. Investigators' notes, witnesses described the vehicles parked at the CPS building as a PT Cruiser, small SUV, or smart car. Investigators believe those descriptions are similar in nature to the 2016 Ford Focus. On October 13, 2022, Richard Allen was interviewed again by investigators. He advised he was on the trails February 13th. He stated he saw juvenile girls on the trails east of the Freedom Bridge and that he went to the Monon High Bridge. Richard Allen further stated he went out onto the Monon High Bridge to watch the fish. Later in his statement, he said he walked out to the first platform on the bridge. He then walked back, sat on a bench on the trail, and then left. He stated he parked his car on the side of an old building. He told investigators he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood. He advised he may have been wearing some type of head covering as well. He further claimed he saw no one else except for the juvenile girls he saw east of the Freedom Bridge. He told investigators that he does own firearms and they are at his home. Richard Allen's wife, Kathy, spoke to investigators. She confirmed he did have guns and knives at the residence. She also stated he still owns a blue Carhartt jacket. On October 13, 2022, investigators executed a search warrant of his home at 1967 North Whiteman Drive, Delphi, Carroll County, Indiana. Among other items, officers located jackets, boots, knives, firearms, including a Sig Sauer model P226 40 caliber pistol with the serial number. Between October 14th and October 19th, the Indiana State Police Lab performed an analysis on Allen's Sig Sauer model P226. The lab performed a physical examination and classification of the firearm, function tests, barrel and overall length measurement, test firing, ammunition component characterization, microscopic comparison, and NIBIN. The laboratory determined the unspent round located within 2 feet of victim 2's body had been cycled through Richard Allen's Sig Sauer model P226. The lab remarked, "An identification opinion is reached when the evidence exhibits an agreement of class characteristics and a sufficient agreement of individual marks. Sufficient agreement is related to the significant duplication of random striated impressed marks as evidenced by the correspondence of a pattern or combination of patterns of surface contours. The interpretation of identification is subjective in nature and based on relevant scientific research and the reporting examiner's training and expertise." Investigators then ran the firearm and found that the firearm was purchased by Richard Allen in 2001. Richard voluntarily came to the Indiana State Police on October 26. He spoke with investigators and stated he never allowed anyone to use or borrow his firearm. When asked about the unspent bullet, he did not have an explanation of why the bullet was found between the bodies. He again admitted he was on the trail, but denied knowing the victims, 1 or 2, and denied any involvement in their murders. Carroll County Sheriff's Department Detective Blank has been part of this investigation since it started in 2017. He had an opportunity to review and examine the evidence gathered in the investigation. Detective Blank, along with other investigators, believe the evidence gathered showed that Richard is the male subject seen on the video from victim 2's phone who forced the victims down the hill. Further, that the victims were forced down the hill by Richard Allen and led to the location where they were murdered. Through statements and photographs of juvenile females, blank and blank were at the southeast edge of the trail at 1243, east of the Freedom Bridge at 126, and walked across the former railroad overpass of Old State Road 25 after 126, but before 146. They walked the entirety of the trail and observed only one person, an adult male. Blank's vehicle is seen on Hoosier Harvest Store at 146, leaving at 214, and she stated she only saw one adult male. Blank and Blank described the male in similar manners, wearing similar clothing, leading investigators to believe all 4 saw the same male individual. Investigators believe the male observed by Blank and Blank is the same male depicted in the video from victim 2's phone due to the descriptions of the male by the 4 females matching the male in the video. Furthermore, victim 2's video was taken at 2:13 p.m. and Blank saw only one male while she was on the trail from 146 to 214. Investigators believe Richard Allen was the male seen by Blank Blank and the male seen in victim 2's video. He told investigators he was on the trail from 1:30 to 3:30. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store shows a vehicle that matches the description of Richard Allen's vehicle passing at 127 towards the former CPS building. The clothing he told investigators he was wearing matched the clothing of the male in victim 2's video and the clothing descriptions provided by Blank and Blank. A vehicle matching the description of his 2016 Ford Focus is seen at or around 210, 214, and 228 at the former CPS building. Through his own admissions, Richard Allen walked the trails and eventually hiked to the Moon and High Bridge and walked out onto the bridge. The male subject matching Richard Allen's description was not seen on the trail after 2:13. Investigators identified other individuals on the trail or CR 300 North between 2:30 and 4:11. None of those individuals saw the male subject matching the description of Richard Allen on the trail. Furthermore, Richard Allen stated that he only saw 3 girls who investigators believed to be Blank, Blank, and Blank. Investigators believe Richard Allen was not seen on the trail after 2:13 because he was in the woods with victim 1 and 2. An unspent .40 caliber round between the bodies was forensically determined to have been cycled through Richard Allen's Sig Sauer model, and that gun was found at his residence. He admitted owning it. Investigators were able to determine he'd owned it since 2001. He stated he had not been on that property where the unspent round was found, that he did not know the property owner, and he had no explanation as to why a round cycled through his firearm would be at that location. Furthermore, he stated he never allowed anyone to use or borrow the gun. Investigators believe that after the victims were murdered, Richard Allen returned to his vehicle by walking down CR 300 North. Investigators believe he was seen by Blank walking back to his vehicle with clothes that were muddy and bloody. Blank, along with investigators, believe the statements made by the witnesses because they corroborate the timeline of the death of the victims as well as coincide with the admissions made by Richard Allen. Further, the accounts relayed by Blank and Blank and Blank are similar in nature, and timestamps on photographs taken by Blank correspond to the times the juvenile female said they were on the trail and saw the male individual. So there's that. But I don't know. That okay. So his wife said he still has that kind of coat. Was the coat tested for any of the blood? And where's all of the victim's blood? Because it wasn't at the scene. So where the heck is it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And welcome, Sweet and Sour. Oh, Burnt Dirt. Thank you for gifting memberships. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, breath, so much info. I'm like, and now it's 2 hours and 16 minutes. So we will continue the rest of it mañana. Wait, do I have a meeting tomorrow? Do I have a meeting in the night tomorrow? Or didn't we just have one? I don't know anymore. My dates are just... What's QWERTY Cyan? What? I think it's Richard Allen. You do. Oh, Dina said it's not. All right, so we're going to do a poll, okay? We're going to do a poll right now. I wonder if I can. Yeah, I can, right? Can I? I think I can. As long as I don't play us. Boop. Nope. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's see if I can do it. No. What the hell is all this shit? I don't want all those things. Startable. Boop. Oh, Dina's icon. Not who did it. I see. Okay. Oh, okay. That's so funny. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Okay. Other? Other? What the hell do you guys think the other thing is? All of them. I want 2 options. Okay. Oh my gosh. What? You think it's RA plus others? Oh my gosh. I don't even know now. I'm like, wait, what? What? Y'all trying to make me crazy. Alright, wait. Let's end this poll. We'll do another one. Hold on. Alright, hold on. Okay. R.A. Wait. Do you think R.A. set cult up? R.A. was involved with cult alone, or none of them. Alright, don't play with me. Thank you. Who is your icon? I can't see it. I don't know. Who the hell did I make that icon? Who is that? I don't know. Ow. I'll have to go look. I don't know. Let me see. I don't know who the hell that is. I don't know. They're my friggin' icons. I don't even know. Oh, R.A. was involved in the cult. Yeah, none of them. Y'all playing too much. What? Yikes. He's gonna get off Autumn, I know. Unless they've got, like, DNA, or I don't know. Dang it. I don't I can't. The cult alone. Okay. Uh-huh. You snore so much, little mama. Freya. Other is, I don't know. Pedos and cultists go together. I see. At the murder scene, they were moved. Could RA have been affiliated? I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Breakaway cult. You still think Klein's in it? Okay. Yikes. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm just baffled myself. Like, I don't know. You think it's Manson? No, that's not Manson. Is it? Hold on here. Let me see. What's that? I didn't know. I wish I knew, but I can't tell. Can you take a screenshot of it and enlarge it for me? Manson is on sugars. That's somebody like holding a stick. What is that? What the hell did I put in there? What are my nuts? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. Oh, it's Gacy. Oh, okay. It's Gacy. The hell's he doing in that picture? I don't know. He's whatever. He's holding a stick. Gacy has a stick now? No, Marley, not as far as we know. Or I don't know. Klein did know the girls would be there. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's so confusing now. I don't know. Oh, I'm stuck in this position. That's really great. No, am I stuck there? Looking like a whole lunatic? No, I'm not. Or I am. I don't know. Whatever. Fuck. It's the clown photo. Okay. I don't know anymore. I'm so crazy. I don't know, but I've been told. Pogo the clown. Alright. So there's that. Close poll. Pogo the clown. Yeah, Marley, I'm not sure on that one, hun. I don't know. Holder could have known through his son. For sure, yeah. Yep. You took a screenshot in his Gacy. Gotcha. State police said we have the guy on the bridge. Today is the day. I know, Tanya, but that really bothers me. Because what if, I get, you just want to get the guy, right? So what are the odds that Keegan was chatting with them and didn't have any involvement? Seems impossible. To me, too. I've been a freaking member for 2 years, 15 days, and it only shows not fair. Oh, no. I'm not that familiar, but hearing though, it's a lot. The Holder guy does, Melissa. He really bothers me. I'm going to listen while I write. This is crazy. Firefly it is. It is. I don't know. You know, some people say just go with the logical choice. The police have a reason. That's why they arrested him. But reading that probable cause, I'm like, no. Okay, yes, he was on the bridge, but he could have been like, who knows? What if the friggin' cult forced him to do it? What if they're going to murder his kids? What if they told him he had to because, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he was into something crazy. There's a lot of theories here. I can't wait for the prosecution to respond to this shit. This is really frustrating. Like, can you all respond, please? I'll hold a press conference. Do something. Pluto water well, two brothers with money. Where are the best storytellers in the world? Why would Alan go down alone? Maybe he was delivering them to the cult guys. I don't know. Yeah, they went missing on the 13th, found on the 14th. Yes. If KK was involved, the police should say it so people would stop the cult thing. Todd Click said the police thing. I know, Lynn, but I just read where... Did you see what I read from the very beginning of this one? Or are you just coming in? Yeah, you don't know me. There's a lot. Mama Bear says the Holder guy is too cocky and his voice to me sounds like it fits. They're really two different people. In the recording, it was likely Ari and Holder. Interesting. Sure took them a long time to get him. And he was right there all along. He didn't throw away his jacket. He didn't throw away his shoes. He didn't throw away nothing. Well, did they find anything on any of those things? I mean, if they have DNA, I'm with you. But if Click is going on giving a statement to Murder Sheet and saying that he didn't think that, yet he worked on it for 5 years, come on. Okay, Lynn, let me just show you this, because we were hearing that Click was saying on Murder Sheet that he didn't do that. So we'll remember on page 75 for tomorrow, but just so we're all clear here, you had... and then the years pass, blah, blah, blah. Hold on. Delphi investigative leadership claimed that it essentially abandoned considering Odinite involvement in the murders. And then the years passed, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Thankfully, during those years, law enforcement officers Kevin Murphy, Greg Frenzy, and Todd Click continued to pursue the truth. Because of their curiosity and investigative efforts, the evidence establishing the names of the likely murdering members, blah, 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 right? On May 1st, 2023, there was a letter from Todd Click, who's now retired. And he, in his letter that was certified mail to the prosecution, he was concerned, allegedly, that information contained in Richard Allen's affidavit pointing the finger at Richard Allen was far less compelling than the totality of the information that he and Detective Murphy and Ferenczi had collected. So Click was concerned that for some reason the leadership of the investigative team had failed to share with Prosecutor McClellan the evidence gathered by Click, Ferenczi, and Murphy. Click's concerns led him to seek out a lawyer to assist him in drafting the letter. So if he thinks that there's no way that any of that was connected, why in 2023, after all of this with Richard is playing out, did he hire a lawyer or seek out a lawyer, write a letter about all the work that Murphy, Ferenczi, and Click did and make sure that it got to them? No. When this is finished, the public will be astonished. The killer is hiding in plain sight. Yeah, maybe. Oh, Lord Jesus. New town name. I mean, aw. Yeah, Sean. All right. It is 8:59. I have made 0 candles. Tommy's barking. And Scott's clothes are drying. I definitely do not want to get pushed in a kitchen. So I've got to go. Aw. Look at you. You might be the longest member ever, Jenny. The defense doesn't have the letter. I don't know, Lynn, if they do have the... I don't know if they have the letter. They cited the letter. It wasn't provided to the defense until after. So they do have it. Thank you, Mama Bear. This is bigger than we can absorb. After listening to all of this, I truly believe that this was a group effort and somehow RA and Klein were pulled in. Very possible. It sounds like a very strange place. Thank you, Melissa. Life does call. Like, I am screwed. I'm going to be up tonight until I don't even know when. But I need candles very soon, very soon. All right. I love you guys so much. I got to go. But we will be back tomorrow for sure. For sure. Every day until we get this done and all of that. I just don't know what time. It could be any time. Whenever I can hop on.